Hello, how are you doing? This is a new type of video. I'm going to do more of these. Hello, my name is John Skippy Limcool. Welcome to a new Plugin Guru video. This is a song safari or a song adventure. I don't know, still playing with what to call these. I've created a unique version of God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen, and I've created it using a number of libraries and a number of different plugins that I support. The website is pluginguru.com. Please come there for the patches. There's a lot of libraries at this point. It keeps growing. And so I've decided, but there's a great sale going on because it's the end of the year. You will not see Super Macho drums at this price ever again, probably. So take advantage of the sale that ends January 5th. After that, I have periodic sales through the year, usually up to like 25 or 30% off, but I don't go this crazy. But it's a new library, and I'm sorry. I know I'm supposed to do a video about the new features and the new kits and all that stuff. I can play this. This is one of the new kits. This is the Chill kit from OMG. But I use this kick drum, this snare drum for this song. So here's how it works. I have my mic, just so you know, my microphone's running through Reason so that I don't have to worry about the latency of these effects, which are currently turned off. I'll show you the mastering effects and talk about them after the song. But I'm going to play you each of the sounds so you can see what components I used, like making a cake. So you'll hear the ingredients used, and then I'll play the song. And you can see I'm using Absinthe 5, I'm using Contact, I'm using Serum, I'm using Massive, all sorts of different libraries, and Contact for Super Macho drums, a number of Omnisphere tracks from a number of different Omnisphere libraries, all used together. So the idea is to show you the sounds together. Instead of just going through the libraries and just talking about making a song based on one library, this is using pieces from a whole bunch of different libraries. So it shows you how they work together. This is kind of like the master plan becoming more solidified, and why you would want to own this library and why it complements all the other libraries in cool ways. That's kind of the idea here. So to start with, this is an Omnisphere patch. This is a multi. And so it's using 6 separate patches that are playing 6 different samples that are mapped across the keyboard to make the guitar. And these are the Mega Magic samples. Part of the reason why I renamed Mega Macho drums to Super Macho drums is so that I stopped saying Mega Magic and Mega Macho at the same time. That's one of the reasons. There's 27 new drum kits with a whole lot of like 1,700 new samples, no serial number, all that stuff too. So we'll talk about that. The next video after this is that walkthrough showing the drum kits, showing the interface video. But I want to do this first. This is a treat since we're in between Christmas and New Year. I want to just give you guys something back. It's been a great year. Unbelievable that the support has been as nice and wonderful as it has been from so many of you. And I thank you sincerely for your business. So I want to give back. So this is kind of, and it also just give you food for thought. Think about the different libraries and how they can work together. So this is 6 samples that have reverb. This is the acoustic guitar, direct input, intimate. And the intimate versions are the ones which are really dynamic, so you can on another Omnisphere track next to it is Guardian's Revenge. This is a sound that if I copy like this, if I go over here and say copy this, I can actually call up the original. This is from Omnichill. But I wanted to modify it, so I modified it to be a lot more velocity sensitive. Because I'll show you the parts soloed after I play the whole song, so you get the whole thing. This is using Serum. I've taken the samples that made the Mega Macho. See, there we go. See, that's why I'm changing that, so I don't have to think about Mega Macho anymore. The Mega Magic bells and winds. There's pan flutes, and I actually played this pan flute. This is the reverbed out, really lovely. And it's playing octave melody. And I turned the filter off, just so you know. When you call it up, it has a filter on. I took that off because I just wanted to be really bright and consistent. Okay. So the next sound is from Absinthe 5. This is one of my favorite libraries. I made this 5 years ago. A while ago. And this I'm modifying and modulating this through the song, so it does some cool things. From Contact 5, this is Mega Magic Pads, the Strings Eternus. Just beautiful pad. 6 samples. Okay. So many beautiful pads in that library. It's one of my favorite libraries. They're like my kids. They're all my favorite libraries. This is the Serum patch from Mega Wave Evil. And the Epic is more the trance kind of things, and the Evil, this is a BPM patch called Laser Pulse Spot. And the mod wheel is moving this high pass filter. So you'll hear that come in at the second, towards the end. That doesn't show up until here at the end of the song. Snack Mouse. This is from the Massive Power Pack. And it uses these real-time controllers a lot. And then I can do the LFO shape, which changes. So I'm changing parameters. The effects. That gets used and automated through the song at different times. This is an Omnisphere patch from Omniverse 2 called Mad Mordor. And it's this big. And it's got the flame distortion to kind of like give it this like distorted overtone. And it's a great solid bottom with the wash. You're going to hear it do stuff like that at the end of the song. From Omniverse 3 is the Cranky Cello. This is a cello sound which is made using the Bode acoustic guitar and the Mellotron cello together. And this track has an awful lot of automation of volumes and so forth on it, so we'll talk about that. Also playing from that same Omnisphere on the second track is the Epic Oasis, which is another Omniverse 3 sound. Omniverse 3 is this. I created this make-believe story for the Omniverse series about a planet. Part 2 is the Dark Hope. It's sad. It's dying. And then part 3, I came up with a whole story. The actual library comes with a PDF cartoon of all the pages of the story. It's awesome. And so there's more orchestral, epic, celebratory types of sounds in Omniverse 3. Omniverse 2 is more depressing and sad. Omniverse 1 is the first library for Omnisphere I made, so it has a whole bunch of patches in a whole bunch of different styles. So finally, we get to the Kontakt 5 library for Super Macho drums. And so the concept behind these libraries is there's 61 samples across the keyboard for every one of the kits. And they follow the same basic rules. So these kick drums, if you go to another drum kit, those first 5 notes are kick drums. So if you make a groove, and like I said, the next video after this, I'll show you all this stuff in detail. It's the most fastest, powerful interface, I think, that it's faster for me to use this and do what I want than battery or any other interface. You can find, like this kick drum is used in this song, so I could solo this one note, lock it. I could have this groove playing. And I could be changing the pitch of this kick. I could be adding delays. And the rest of the drums don't do anything. They don't go anywhere because I've locked this one note. Okay, so that kind of power to lock a note, to have all of these effects and controls and pitchy and filters and delay and 2 different reverbs on available to be used at different send mix amounts for every single note across the keyboard is massively powerful. It's really cool. So that is used for the drums in this track. And if you see, there's 3 parts. I have this little offbeat. It's on a different rhythm. I like stuff that doesn't repeat all the time. So this is doing this just, oh, it's quiet for the first part because it fades in volume here. So it's doing this. Then you have the groove. And then I always, the way I do my drums is once I have the groove and maybe something like the tambourine part, then this is fills. And the added stuff like the ride cymbal for a part of the song, I do those on a separate pass so that I can fill in and control it, but interact it. So the end result is it's gonna sound like there's this drummer that's just following along with the song. And it's all because of this one track that has the real-time fills and so forth. So that's how I do drum programming, and I've done it that way for 30 years, and tons of records in LA, commercials, all that stuff back in the day. That's how I like to do drums and why I got called a lot to do that kind of stuff. I like to do drums that have like a drummer feel, drummers playing, because I play drums. So I have that kind of a vibe to this mix. So I'm going to turn this button on, which will bring on the effects. Now the mastering effects, I'm using a Cambridge EQ. I've got a high pass filter to filter out anything below 30, so it just stops and slops it. It's doing just a little shaping down to the low end and a little up to the high end. Then we have this is really cool, called the Precision Maximizer, which does this harmonic enhancing. I love this effect, and I'll show you after this song. This is the Impressor. It's a multi-brand compressor EQ. It does a really weird EQ thing that I really like. And then at the end of all my stages of mastering is the Precision Limiter, which limits it at 0 dB so it doesn't overdrive, and I got it pumped up to about 5 dB of extra energy to be added into the mix. So those are going on in what you're about to hear. So those sounds from Mega Magic Guitars, Omnichill, Mega Magic Bells and Winds, the Absynth Power Pack, the Mega Magic Pads on Kontakt 5, Mega Wave Evil for Serum, the Massive Power Pack, Omniverse 2, Omniverse 3, and the Kontakt 5 Super Macho drums. Those are all being used to make my own take on the God Rest Ye Merry Gentlemen. And it's kind of done in a filmic, well, I will stop talking and just let you hear it. So here it is. I'm going to mute my microphone and play it. So please enjoy. So there. A lot going on. But I like it. So I want to do more of these types of videos. Let me know in the comment section if this helps you to see the libraries used this way. I would think it does. Because there's so many libraries now at my site. I'm thrilled that there's so much to work with and so much different variety to play with. And I'm honored in all the places it's getting used, all the films. I get email all the time from all these huge films that are using my sounds, and records and commercials, and it's really awesome. But I want to show you guys how they can work together. It's not so much, this is like painting. And each of these synthesizers has its own color, its own tone, and when you put them together, you can get some really interesting stuff to happen. So let me solo out a couple parts to let you hear what's going on. So one thing I did, when the drums come in right here, let's solo these two parts. There's a glue, I got it like this. The kick drum inside of Kontakt. Let's go over here. This kick drum, oh, hello. Hear how it's affecting the guitars? If I play the guitars, they're sustaining out, but if I play the drum, that's because I have this kick drum going to its own channel, sent to a bus. That bus right here is being turned down so you don't hear it, but it's active and available now, and it's being used as the external input right here on the guitar. So as the drums play and that guitar part plays, when the kick drum hits, the guitars dive down just a little bit. Because there's so much low end in the reverb and all that stuff happening with this. Oh, the other thing I did, there's a single EQ right here, low pass. I'm killing all frequencies below 60 hertz on the guitar. So when you hear, the super low stuff is not allowed to be brought into the mix. So I'm high pass filtering per se that out with a low cut from a single EQ. And then I have a linear EQ just giving a little bit more of the strings, like 5-6 dB at 11K. Makes it a little bit sweeter. Okay. So the buildup is to have so let's get rid of the kick drum. So we just have back to this, and let's here's the other part that's nice is this bass part. Oh. And by velocity it can pop up to have a little bit more of that. Okay. Okay. So then on top of that, I've got the pan flute, just doubling the melody and in octaves, if you can see. So it's really simple. You got to keep things minimal and you don't have one of these parts doing everything. I mean, the guitar is kind of the guy doing everything, and everybody else is to complement and enhance that guitar part to sound as good as I can make it. So next up is the Absynth 5 Power Pack doing a really cool so if you combine that with the guitar and this and solo. other parts that are going on in here that are really nice, this massive sound is really cool. I forgot how fun the sound was. Here it comes. Hear the effects come up. So that's going on. And when you combine that with this and with the pan flute, it starts to get interesting. And the other part that's enhancing that melody is the cranky cello. And I let it do little embellishments. I didn't quantize it. So if you take that part with this, with the pan flute and the guitar, so yeah, it's 4 parts on 4 different synthesizers, but they're helping each other out to build up to be a stronger melody. They're not conflicting with each other. Because the guitar is doing the extra stuff, the other guys aren't allowed to do extra stuff, except for little note embellishments like a cello player, you know, kind of like a Celtic cello, more than a classical cello, I guess you would say. Okay. So on top of that, we need to enforce the bottom end. So that's where the Absinthe 5 sound, this right here, the mouse tracker was the bottom. So if I bring this into it, now I got that bottom pulsing. And if you combine that with Guardian's Revenge, doing the and you hear the changes in subtle parts. And that's all that's going on music-wise. And then you take the drums, so that kick drum is hitting and the guitar goes away a little bit, which makes this interesting thing for your ears to notice. And then the drums are kind of straightforward, although I pan there's a tambourine on the run side and there's a hi-hat on the other side. And so I spent a long time working on this snare, how I wanted it to be, so we can note lock this, because this sound it could be much longer, so we can play the song. Now, because I have note lock on, it's locked on the snare, so I can change pitch. Decay, reverb, to find exactly how I want it, how much space I want it to have, all this stuff. Okay, and then right here, I wanted to have some drama come in, so I have the Strings Eternus from Mega Magic pads right here. It's beautiful. Let's have that come up, and let's have the bass parts come up. And listen to this. So if we go solo these guys, back it up. Hear the strings, and lots of. So now I let it play the chords and take it out a little bit. So you have to think like a conductor. It's like, I want this drama, I want things to go up and down. There's a lot of automation on all sorts of parts throughout this whole thing. The snack mouse on Absinthe 5, I set this over to latch, and I have this set so that it's changing all sorts of cutoff, the reverb mix. There's one part that's really cool right here. watch right here. The alpha shape. It goes the other direction. So in the mix, what happens is right there, just this, you don't want things to be the same time all the time, timing wise. So what's right? Watch right here. Change the timing up. Now everything else kind of dies down for the strings. I love it. And here's where these guys take over for them. Something new comes in. Like, listen to these guys just by themselves. Let's get it. Yeah. That's because of Mad Mordor, because it's so that shows you some ideas. One thing I want to show you, this Alicia Impressor. Check this out, how this works. It's really interesting. So let's play the mix. I had this EQ and it's got a gain and it's got an EQ shift that you can do. And you can set the EQ where you want. And then you can taper the shape, how much high to low there is. Here's without it. Just gives it a look, that little bit of extra production sparkle that is just really hard to find. It's those magic box kind of things. So I really like how that works. Here's without any of the mastering effects, so you can hear what it sounds like. It's flat. So the EQ shapes it, kills all the low end below 30K. There you go. I love the symbol right here. All right, so that gives you an idea of how the libraries can work together. They're made to go together. So keep adding to your collection. With the website, you can now re-download libraries that you need in the future because they show up in your user area. Really like the new website. People like the new website. That's very good to hear. Thank you for your support. It's been a great year. 2017 has some already amazing things in the works. So can't wait to share what is going to happen when it's time to share. It's not time yet, but it's coming. So thank you and enjoy. And we'll do more of these. Let me know if you like these. Okay. So see you later.